That was Rude Boys written all over your face. So remember during the election cycle, there was all the talk about how expensive eggs were and how that would be addressed immediately. But initially in Donald Trump's first few days, the January 6ers, they were all released, up to 1,500 of them, two of which, I think, two have gone back to jail, and one was actually shot by a police officer in an altercation just a few days after he got out of prison. So that tells you how some of the history of some of these people. The other thing they did right away was to try to criminalize DEI. It's not just to strip it, but to criminalize it, make it criminal, DEI. And the other thing they did was to immediately start deporting immigrants across all levels. They started deporting immigrants. So eggs are high, and your response to that is to release a bunch of cop beaters, then to start removing illegal immigrants, many of them in the agricultural field, and then to criminalize DEI. None of which has had an impact as to date on the things that people were the most concerned about initially, which was the price of goods and food and services, right? And interestingly enough, so we have a convicted felon releasing other convicted felons and telling us that he initially is going to remove, in this first phase of immigration, removing immigrants, he said it would be the criminals, right? But he also, before that, he passed a special order where ICE could go get immigrants in church, in school, and at work. Now, name me the gang leader that you catch working a shift at McDonald's. If they're criminals, why are they always at work, church, and school? Most of the time, if you have a neighbor that goes to work, church, and school constantly, if that's where you're going to find them at, you don't want them deported. You want them to watch your house when you're gone. They didn't notice they said school, they said work, they said church. They didn't say, a welfare scheme in Manatee, Florida. They didn't say a shoplifting ring in La Jolla, California. They didn't say storming the Capitol. Because initially, if you decided that those were the places that ICE needed to have entree to, then you knew that those people weren't criminals. You knew what you were doing. But none of that has had an impact on groceries today, nor will it. And everybody knows it. And that tells you that it was never about the egg. It was never about the price of goods and services. It was always about this. He's doing exactly what does shutting down the government and denying all federal funds and then rescinded have to do with the price of eggs? What does offering 2 million federal employees buyouts or under the auspices of buyouts have to do with lowering the price of eggs? It is about 2025 is about reshaping the government in their image. And let's be clear, it isn't just going to be the image we're comfortable with. It's the way billionaires have decided it should look. And none of that has anything to do with the price of eggs. None of it. So it was never really about the price of eggs. But let me tell you something. If you think eggs are expensive, wait till you see how expensive freedom is. That's a little note from the GED section. Got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.O. Hughley Show.